Good afternoon. My name is Niko, host of the political radio show Mi Casa es Su Casa. And today, I just wanted to have a little discussion, a brief one, about Bill Cosby and just some things that aren't being discussed. You all know how I am when things begin to become sensationalized, and we automatically just point to he's guilty, she's guilty, without any substantive proof other than hearsay. I just don't really believe in hearsay that much. I never have, and there's a legitimate reason for that, which I will delve into. One thing that we need to understand about the case with Bill Cosby. Well, let's just start off by saying this. Women need to be able to come forward. Women need to, if you don't know this, this is a fact, verifiable. Ask 9 out of 10 of your female friends. They have been sexually assaulted at some point in their young life or their adult life. This is an epidemic. It needs to stop. And if Bill Clinton, well, he is guilty, but Bill Cosby, if he is found, or if he is guilty, then he needs to be held accountable. And so does everyone else who's been able to walk off with no charges. Now, there's also this, and this is something we need to realize. He hasn't been found guilty yet. And it is very irresponsible of us to all assume that he is guilty. Now, I will say, we should not dismiss charges of rape. We shouldn't dismiss them as hearsay, and we shouldn't dismiss them as maybe, she was asking for it. We shouldn't do that. But we should also look at this from both angles, because this is a double-sided coin. Because we don't want women, because of this case, to think, okay, someone with status can get off of, straight rape, even if people are telling the same stories. But at the same time, there's another issue that we need to deal with that doesn't ever get talked about all that often. And that is, we can't allow black men to be demonized. Just like we can't keep putting these barriers up for women to not be able to be open. It's a double-edged sword. Now, why do I say that? Because I'm a black man, and I've seen this happen to myself, where a person will create a story about me, not necessarily something to that extent, but while I was in debate in college, a story was passed around about me. I didn't even know about the story until it randomly came up when I was trying to run for a higher position, if you will, or when I was selected for a higher position and I was pushed out. I've seen it happen. I mean, it's the same story over and over again. Whenever a black man begins to climb, there's this force that pushes back, and there's a force that pushes down. Some of it is inexplicable. Some of it, is very easily explained. Now, we do need to be very cautious as to how we perpetuate whether, a story that we don't know the answer to, we don't know the ending of. Bill Cosby. There's over 50 women that said that Bill Cosby raped them. And I begin to become a little skeptical. There's a few reasons for this. Over 50 women all have the exact same story. He gave us, and which is an easy story to tell, and it's an easy story to remember. At some point, Bill Cosby was partying with them. He gave them drugs, and he raped them or sexually assaulted them. Now, there's a lot of problems with that. One, Bill Cosby was probably in his coming up into his prime. He was born in 38. So he was coming into his prime in the mid to late 60s, early 70s, and obviously he was dominating by the 80s and the 90s. We're talking about a time period where a man, regardless of status, social status, couldn't even look at a white woman without getting crucified. Now, the majority of these women are white, and it's hard for me to believe It really is. And this is, you can call it what you want to, but this is just it's a historical fact. It's hard for me to believe that a white woman was scared that a black man who wasn't even in the prime of his career yet could not be held accountable. Especially black men. Do you know how black men were portrayed? We were portrayed as the rapists. We were portrayed as men who are beasts looking to rape white women. That is how we were portrayed, literally, even into the years that Bill Cosby was born. This is how we were, white men would dress up in blackface and act like they were hunting white women. We were portrayed as beasts and demons. So I find it hard to believe that they felt like they couldn't come out. But I find it even more interesting that we're seeing the same patterns whenever the media tells us a lie and they want it to be believable. They incept us by using the same rhetoric and using a story that's very easy to remember. We see it with Russia right now, right? Russia. Where's the evidence? Well, it's hearsay. He said, she said, he said this, she said that, and we're back to square one. You know, we're told, the same things happen all over and over again, where the media will say a lie, but if they repeat it enough and they get enough for people to repeat it, then people believe it. If you're going to tell a lie, if you're going to have a quote unquote a conspiracy against somebody, you have to stick to your story. You have to make it simple. You have to make it believable. I don't know if I believe it. Now just put that on the front. I don't know if I believe it because this is a weird time for everyone to come out. I don't know if I believe it because, yes, there were white women, a majority of white women who said this. And I'm just thinking in the context of the time period. It doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. It's reality. It doesn't make sense. The stories aren't even matching up. One woman said that Bill Cosby was somewhere that multiple people said he wasn't there. He wasn't there. Like, and they would know when Bill Cosby walked to the room, they're like, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. Why are you claiming that he was somewhere where he wasn't? Now, like I said, if Bill Cosby did do this, then he deserves to be punished. Absolutely, unequivocally. But that many people all coming out at once with the exact same story makes it unbelievable to me. That's what history tells us. Anyone who repeats the same story over and over again, especially if it's a story that's easy to remember, a story that will pull at the heartstrings, it's not believable to me. Now, why this is important is because we can't continue to assume black men are guilty. We can't perpetuate that, just that falsehood that black men are always guilty. Because we don't get cut slack in the court system, and that needs to be understood. We don't. Very rarely, especially in jury trials. We don't get off. There's been a couple of times in history. But we're always assumed guilty. They assumed Kobe Bryant raped the white woman because it was a white woman who said that he raped her. They assume that, Rice from the Ravens, he was just a woman beater and he just beat the hell out of her all the time. And that, even though him and his wife talked it out, it was perfectly fine. There were no charges filed against him because it was a one-time instance and they had personal things going on. He was punished for it as he should have been, but then the league treated him like he was dirt when he tried to get back in. However, when you have somebody like Ben Roethlisberger, who was almost in an identical situation to Kobe Bryant as far as the raping was concerned, he paid a settlement off. The league never investigated it. The NFL, I should say. The NFL they never investigated. They just went on about their business. And Ben was Ben. They never talked about his allegations ever again. Same thing with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was taking drugs. He got caught almost damn near red-handed for taking performance-enhancing drugs. Never a peep about it. We heard about it for like 2 days. Never again. And how this is connected to Philando Castile is that we can't keep perpetuating the mindset and the logic that if you see a black man, he is guilty. Because although it goes through several steps. When we have these conversations, we know he did it, 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 we know he did it. That's when a cop thinks that this black man is going to be guilty of something. That's why he thinks he has to pull out his gun. That's why he has to pull out his taser, whatever. And they see a black man with dreads in a place like Minnesota, and they know he's got to be guilty. I've been pulled over countless times. When I bought my very first car, I was pulled over. I had my brothers and my sister. We were on the way to the mall, and they pulled me over saying it looked like a car that had been stolen recently. Knowing, if you read the tags, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the South, good God, they make all their money off of traffic stops. If you read the tags, you know it's not the same vehicle. If I didn't have my military ID card on me at that time, it might have turned out worse. I've been stopped in South Miami while walking because I looked like I was a drug dealer, apparently. And it's because we carry that, we allow this, he's guilty. He's a black male, he's guilty. We have been demonized as these, like I said, we were portrayed as rapists time and time again in films. When white males, and I love everybody, but I'm just keeping it high. We're talking about a different time period. White males were portrayed as the heroes saving the white women from black men. And I mean, in case you don't know, that's what King Kong was about, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but yes. And what the story that was being missed was that actually white males were raping all women at a much higher rate than black men could, because we couldn't have a misstep in these times. Okay? This is reality. So, like I said, we can't assume guilt. If he's guilty, it needs to be dealt with. But I'm not going to fall into the trap of assuming somebody's guilty, especially someone as powerful as Bill Cosby, especially someone with as much affluence as Bill Cosby, and he was trying to, in clout, he was trying to buy NBC, or not MSNBC, NBC. He tried to buy it twice, after the most recent time. You know, this is what happened. I just don't agree. I don't think that I just don't think it's legitimate. Now, don't mistake that for me saying, oh yeah, women who are raped, they can't speak out because of situations like this, because I do agree with that also. I think that we can agree that sexual assault should be taken more seriously. But those women who don't get to speak out, oftentimes have a lot more evidence and a lot more proof outside of circumstantial proof. Hearsay, if you will. And if this is the case, then I'm going to be even more upset at the women or the people behind this for taking a very serious issue and attempting to make money off of it. Because celebrities are easy targets for a situation like this, because their brand depends on how people perceive them. Rappers, TV stars, movie stars, singers, every one of them are constantly sued, constantly paying settlements, because their brand, their name means more than any show that they could put on, any movie, any trial that they could win. I would love to know your opinions about this. Be open-minded, but this is a controversial issue, and I understand that, but it is something we need to talk about. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and always remember, find your balance. Peace.